Hey, what is going on, boys? So today I have a new video for you guys, and you're just gonna enjoy this one. If you're trying to get better inside of Clash Royale, this is the video for you. And so, we are going to go over what are the best decks inside of Clash Royale. How do I know that this deck is gonna stay strong? And how do I practice this deck? And I'm gonna explain how it all works, I guess, and how I can like predict people and know what they're gonna play and know what cards are in hand. And I think that this is a better video um, than how to count cards, because this will help you so much in that direction. Like you'll start doing it naturally as you practice. So, anyways, to find the best decks, if you're just looking for a strong deck and you're a casual player, I recommend going to Royale API and just always looking at go to the little deck tab. And yeah, I'll show it right here. And so once you go to the little deck tab, you just hit the decks, and it's going to bring you to all the top decks within like the last day. And so it's not very accurate, but there's filters where you can change it. And so now I'm going to go over like what decks are going to stay strong for a long time to come, right? Like the deck I've been using, Splash Shard. Some of you guys use it, and it's not very strong right now. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's not a top deck. It's not being used by every pro in the game, like at a high level. There's some one-trick pros who like started out with Splash Shard, and so they have it. And so they're still using it here and there, you know, between other decks. But I will show you guys right now all the decks that will stay strong for years after this video. Like, this video will be viable for years to come for these decks. So anyways, this deck right here, we've got P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam. P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam is so strong. It will always be strong. These are cards that are all never getting nerfed to a point where they're not going to be like able to be used in ladder, I guess. They'll always be used in top ladder. And then we've got Balloon Cycle, the one with Lumberjack and Bowler. This will always be a strong deck. I truly believe that. Because, you know, Balloon, they don't want to nerf that. It's a win condition. You've got Barb Barrel. It's been nerfed 4 or 5 times. If anything, it's going to get a buff on the next update. You know, I mean, the next time, I don't think it'll get a nerf. You've got Bowler, which is very, very strong. And the Tornado combination with the Bowler can be so good. Sometimes you can just win games with Tornado Freeze onto something on their tower with just the Bowler and get a ridiculous amount of damage from it, almost take their tower. You got the Electro Dragon for more splash. You've got the Freeze on defense and on offense, very, very strong on defense. You'll actually hard counter like E-Golem, all kinds of like P.E.K.K.A, or not P.E.K.K.A, but you'll hard counter like Golem if you don't like Golem. Like, very great deck to pressure opposite lane, and then be able to just defend for an Inferno Dragon or an Electro Dragon plus like Tornado or something. So next we've got Giant Double Prince, and this one with the Miner and Ewiz and Meg Minion has been strong for 4 years now. This deck will always have a place. If you master this deck, you go into what I'm gonna say at the end of the video, and I'll put in timestamps all throughout this video so you guys can just skip around. But for Giant Double Prince, Dark Prince, and Prince, they're not gonna nerf these cards. Like, these cards aren't like breaking the game, but they're strong cards, right? Like, they're like some of the best mini tanks that you can have, better than mini P.E.K.K.A for the Prince, and maybe even the Dark Prince, depending on the meta. And so Giant, even though Giant is so bad right now, like, think about that. Like, Kamikaze is always pushing super, super high, and yes, obviously that's the only deck he plays. He's like a god with Giant Double Prince, but you've got so many other players up there. You've got Chinese people, you've got all kinds of different people who are up there that I don't even know about, always with Giant Double Prince. And there's people in top 10,000 where I push ladder who are always using it. So yeah, it's a viable deck. And yeah, it's really, it's good to, like, a good pressure deck. You've got Lava Hound. This deck And then, I mean, maybe barbarians might be switched. And that's the thing, is like, if they nerf a card too bad in your deck, you can the thing is if you're using one of these meta decks, you'll recognize, because you'll come to Royal API and you'll be like, okay, the favorite pro I know that always uses this version, let's see what version he's using. And then you just look up his profile and you'll be like, huh, what the heck? He's using this variation more now. And then, you know, like maybe instead of guards, he has barbarians. Like maybe they nerf guards and now he like is using barbarians again. Okay, well, like that's one small like switch, you know. And like with Splash Yard, my original deck, when I first started playing Clash Royale, it had Tombstone instead of Goblin Cage. It had Ice Wizard, no matter what. Ice Wizard was good. And then it always had Poison, and it had Knight. Valk didn't come in until later when E-Golem started getting really strong, like when they came out with E-Golem, and then it just started getting crazy. So yeah, Lava Hound, Balloon with Mega Minion, and Zap Fireball, that combo will always remain strong. And if you have barbs or guards, you will always be able to push. The Skeleton Dragons can be switched from Skeleton Dragons to Baby Dragon, to all kinds of different things. I think he has the Skeleton Dragons in there for some type of Fireball bait version. Anyways, Lumberloon Freeze, here it is again. But instead of the Electro Dragon, he has a Baby Dragon. So, like I said, it's still that fundamentally it's the exact same deck, and it's played very, very similar. So yeah, this deck right here, Mega Knight Bait. This, no matter the meta, I know somebody actually on my friends link who always, I mean, he used to push top 1000 all the time. He's used it for all this time, and it's a good deck. It's an amazing deck. And as soon as you get into double elixir, you can just start spamming opposite bridges. Like, you can just do some crazy stuff with this deck. A lot of outplay potential, and a lot of pressure. Very, very spammy type of deck. And it's been strong for as long as I can remember. This is one of those decks. Like, all the decks I'm showing have been one of those decks. This deck, however, the one with Hog and Lightning, yeah, probably not this one. Because this one has the Valk and the Lightning, and usually they don't have Valk and Lightning, but Hog Earthquake, if you just change this to Earthquake, that will always be meta, and there is Earthquake players still right now in Clash Royale, at like highlighter, a lot of them. And like the Hog Rider with the fast cycle, it's just, it'll never go away. This variation of Hog Earthquake has been meta for as long as I can remember, so just one of those other decks. Then you've got the Royal Hogs and the Royal Recruits is Fireball Bait. That's what this is called, Fireball Bait, and it's got the Zappies. You know, people want to fireball those. You've got the Flying Machine. You can just go Royal Recruits in the back, split the Zappies like somewhere in the middle so that it's like right behind the Recruits, and then you can play a Flying Machine right in the middle where it'll kill, like it'll help get your Recruits to the tower and kill stuff that they play in the middle of the arena, and then you can go Royal Hogs to protect it even further. And everybody knows the Flying Machine has like a weird radius where it's super annoying. So yeah, Fireball Bait will always remain strong. If you chose to master this deck, it will always be strong, no matter the meta. And like maybe they nerf Flying Machine to the point where nobody can use Flying Machine anymore. You just put in Skeleton Dragons. You just put in something else that people want to fireball. Fireball, like everyone wants to fireball Skeleton Dragons because they're better than a Baby Dragon. They do more DPS than Baby Dragon, so you do want to take them down. It's just that, and they do splash damage, so you do want to take them down with like a fireball, and you can split them. So yeah, you could like split them at the very top. Here's P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam again. So this variation, instead of fireball, he's using poison, and this deck with P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam will always remain strong, like I said. Yeah. Double Huts spawner with the Mother Witch and Elite Barbarians. Now this deck is at a very high risk of being nerfed to a point where the whole deck isn't viable at like a high trophy range anymore. Okay, and the reason why I say that is Mother Witch, who knows? She could get nerfed. Maybe they don't ever touch her again. I hope they do, because it's used everywhere on high ladder. But if they don't, I've come to just accept it and use Fireball in my decks now. But the double hut is pretty annoying, and people are starting to kind of say it's OP. So we will see. Yeah, they will probably get nerfed at one point or changed. Elite Barbarians are very strong and will probably get changed. Cannon Cart is really, really strong. Could be changed. You've got the cannon or the Fireball. I don't know. I don't think that'll be nerfed. And then like the Barbell and Flying Machine. Who knows? Who really knows with the dev team anymore? Very meta deck though, right now, but not in the future. So that's like a deck I wouldn't invest my time into. You've got Expo. This deck, no matter what, somebody always finishes top 10 in the world with it at the very end of the season. They whip out their Expo deck and they start smashing people, and they're sniping people. People are getting sniped everywhere at the very end of the season, top ladder. So yeah, Expo very, very strong, depending on the matchups and how good you are with it, but will always remain a meta deck that you could invest elixir into. Here's another one. This is classic log bait, and a very good deck to invest your time in, especially like at low trophies. Like the Inferno Tower is really strong, so you can get a lot of value killing Mega Knights and stuff, and a lot of people will have like E-Wiz, and so they can't do anything about the E-Wiz, because you know you have the Inferno Tower. You can just go Inferno Tower Knight onto like Mega Knight balloon pushes, and so yeah, this variation, this guy just has a Tesla, so this deck, I'm not sure if it would remain meta, but maybe. It's hard to say where they're gonna want champions. I think they want champions to be strong and like to be the top tier cards, but I don't know. I think they're gonna nerf all of them because they're broken. So, I mean, maybe not though. The Clash Royale team has been doing some crazy stuff, you know. So maybe that's just like the new meta, I guess. I don't know. And then, let me see. We're gonna change the filter to the popularity. We'll go top 1000 ladder, and we'll apply that. And so let's see what it gives us. Okay, so Expo, P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam, Fireball Bait. This is a new deck. It's been popping up. Wouldn't invest my time into this deck because a lot of these cards are probably going to get nerfed. You gotta think about it. Royal Hogs, a lot of pros think that they are a little too strong now, so you know they could get nerfed again, and then maybe that like just makes the difference. I don't know. You've got 2.6 up here. This is another Lava Hound deck that's been strong for years now, for almost as long as I can remember. I remember when it first came out. Yeah, it used to be like way stronger. So yeah, it is still viable in top 1000 ladder if you have good matchups. Here's yep, Balloon Freeze, the exact same deck, but that version had the Electro Dragon. You've got the Giant Double Prince. Yep, Lava Hound. Here's a Royal Giant deck that you could invest time into. And the spell, you would have to just level up your Fireball and your Lightning and be switching between them and practice and see which one you like the most. And Mother Witch might get nerfed and stuff, but I don't think they'll nerf RG again. And if anything, they're gonna just like nerf Mother Witch. But if they nerf Mother Witch, you put in E-Wiz, like this deck, or you put in Hunter. This deck has been like this deck for a long time now. So yeah, that's a great deck to invest in if you like Royal Giant. Here is Ice Bow. So yeah, really good deck to invest time in. If you're really good, you can get up there. This is a Lava Hound Fireball deck. Giant Graveyard is super good. So yeah, you could always get up there with Giant Graveyard. This 2.9 deck is very hard to use, but very high skill, and if you can pull it off, you know, I've been beat by this deck, even though I hard counter it on ladder before by very, very good players. So, this is another deck that you could master, and I mean, your skill level would be actually cracked as well. Like, you would definitely be a great player if you could get some cool wins with that. You've got this deck has been around for like quite some time. This deck was made by like one of the old like pro mortar players. I remember when it first came out. So yeah, this could be viable for a very long time. Electro Giant, one of those cards. Who knows where it's coming in the future? You know, I don't know if it's the way that like it makes a lot of lower players mad, like the new player base mad, and so Supercell might nerf it because of that, because of like all the new people coming to the game not liking how strong it is to them. It might not be super strong to the people who are on higher ladder, but that's just because, you know, it's like, I guess they know how to defend, and they like the meta up there, they have a lot of answers for it, and they've played against it 5 million times. Who knows where it's going to go in the future, so very risky deck to invest in. So if you're here to come and practice and you want to use one of those decks that I just mentioned, what you're going to want to do, go over to the Classic Challenge, grind them out. As many as you can win. There's people like me, and I don't think I'm like a pro or anything, but I'm definitely really good with Splash Yards, so I've gotten a top 1000 GT global tournament badge with it, and so I would say I'm okay. And I think classic challenges have helped me more than anything to get the global tournament badge that I got. Like, at the time, I was grinding out my classic challenges like all the time, and then I tried my very first global tournament, and we did super good on it on my mini account, and like that was like I was just grinding out like tournament-based Clash Royale because everyone uses whatever decks they want to, you know, because not everyone has everything leveled up on ladder, so they can't use what they're wanting to use. But when you go into a classic challenge, you know, it's nice, and I know a lot of people around, you know, 7,000 plus trophies that only do classic challenges. They just do it to practice new decks. They do it to try out a certain version of their own deck, and so you can get really good practice over there for cheap gems, and it's worth your time to do it. You got to remember, you know, like, you've just got to remember that when you're playing Clash Royale, that it's just going to give you more experience. And ladder, if you're under leveled, you're not going to get the proper amount of practice. Like, because nobody's using what they want to use, you know what I mean? And when you're inside of a classic challenge, you're going to face people who are using all those decks I just showed you guys. You're going to face those decks like every single game. Like, at the very beginning, maybe not, because those people are super low and they're trying to make their own deck. The decks I just gave you are guaranteed to push you to top 10,000 or higher. Like, it just takes winning a couple classic challenges, really practicing, and then leveling up only that deck. Like, a lot of new players make the mistake of trying to level up multiple cards. No, find one of those decks I just gave in the last part, max it out, and I promise you, no matter like what season is, there's a lot of people using it in top 10,000. I would say, you know, each one of the decks I showed today, there's at least 500 people of each one of those decks, like in ladder, like that are always pushing to the top 10,000 ladder. And there's probably even more than that of people who can push a top 10,000, but they just don't care to. So yeah. Anyways, without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed this, then leave a like. I left some gameplay in the background, so yeah, that was just gameplay that you guys could watch while like if you're not fully interested or you like to watch, and if you like to watch two things at once, I don't know. Peace out, guys.